Alright, I'll admit it. This might be a solution looking for a problem, but it's still pretty cool that we can do this.
Stick around and we'll get right to it.
Real quick, before we get going, I've got to give a shout out to these guys. They're my latest patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to Patreon down in the description below.
I'm sure a few of you will remember printing out pages like this. This was a page that I've recently printed out from MapQuest. And long before we had internet on our phones, many of us would go online before a road trip, go to a service called MapQuest, key in our starting point and our destination, and then go ahead and get MapQuest to get us directions to that location. Then we would print out pages like you just saw. Well, recently I was scanning through the forums. I saw something about being able to do this on a BBS, and I got to digging into that just a little bit. Now, I couldn't find the forum post again when I went back looking for it, so I'm not able to give credit to the guy that came up with kind of this idea of doing it over a bulletin board service. But what I did was I looked at the website where he was pulling the text directions, and I found that website. Upon closer inspection of the URL, once you've plugged in your parameters, I figured out that it was pretty easy to deconstruct. After that, I wrote a quick and simple little application for all of you Linux users that you can run. You can give it, you can either use your GPS or you can give it your starting address. Then you can plug in a destination address, and that script will construct it correctly and post it to your Winlink outbox. Once you've made a connection for Winlink, give it about 5 minutes, make a second connection, and those driving directions will be right back in your inbox, ready for you to use. Now, let's go ahead and jump over to the computer. I'll give you a quick demo, and then I'll show you how to get this application installed and running on your Linux box. Alright, so you're looking at the application right here. It will allow you to use your GPS if you already have that configured and running in the background on your system with GPSD. For right now, I'm going to say don't use the GPS. It's going to ask me for the origin, street address, city, state, and zip code. Now, the one cool thing about this is you don't have to put in an exact address right here. So for this example, I'm just going to key in my city for the city right there, and I'm going to plug in my state. So Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm going to click next, and it's going to ask me for the destination address. Again, I'm not going to plug in an exact street address, although you definitely can. Let's go Florence, Alabama. And let's just click next. It's going to let me know that that message has been posted to Pat Winlink. Now, if we take a look at the Pat Winlink outbox, here's our outgoing message right here. Let's go ahead and open that up, and you'll see that that's going to query@saildocs.com. And it is sending along this link right here. So let's go ahead and quickly send that out and see what happens. For this demo, I'm just going to use Telnet, so it will be a little bit quicker for the video. We'll go ahead and send that out. I'm going to give that about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll make another connection and watch it come back into our inbox and take a look at it. All right, hopefully I've waited long enough. Let's go ahead and make that connection again and see if we don't get that back to our inbox, and we see it right there. Opening that up, you will see the complete set of directions right here, the driving instructions that you would need to navigate from Murfreesboro, Tennessee to Florence, Alabama. Now that's pretty cool. Let me show you guys how to get this installed on your system so you can play with it as well. So I've navigated over to github.com/km4ack. I'm going to come up here to repositories, and I'm going to look for this repository right here that's called PyScripts. Now don't let that PyScripts name confuse you. This will work on both the Raspberry Pi and any Linux x86 machine that's running a Debian-based flavor of Linux. We're going to scroll down through here until we find driving directions. Let's go ahead and click on that. And then you should find a download raw file right up here in this line. So I'm going to click on that download raw file and give that just a second to download. Doesn't take it very long at all. Let's see, let's go ahead and kill that flavor that I had running. Let's go ahead and open up our File Explorer and let's take a look at the Downloads folder, which is where it should be. Now, for this instance, I'm going to right-click on this and click on Properties. And then I'm going to take a look at the permissions. And right down here, you see this Allow Executing File as a Program. We want to put a check mark right beside that. If for some reason you don't have that exact checkbox in yours or can't quite figure it out, just open up your terminal window. Let's navigate to the Downloads directory with CD space Downloads. If we list out that directory with the ls command, you'll see that we have driving directions right here. Yours would not be in green. Mine is already in green because I've already made it executable, but you could simply run chmod +x driving directions, or driving hyphen directions in this case, and if you press enter right there, it would make yours executable as well. Now, back in the File Explorer, I'm just going to double click on this and tell it to run this. We could say run in terminal, or we can say run, either way. And that will get the application up and running on your system so you can play around with this. And it's that easy to get driving directions delivered over RF using Winlink. If you found today's information helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up before you head off. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then, 7-3.